Hello everyone, my name is Ron Reed. I'm the creator of Sasquatch Society, and I've been in the subject for about 11 years now. And it started off in middle school and carried on through high school. And I did a few things here and there, mostly research from the comforts at home. But when I graduated in 2010, I felt that it was time to get out there in the field and do some reconnaissance and look for evidence. So being in Middle Tennessee, I was looking at places like the Smokies initially and some outlying areas, but I had saved up enough money to where it was possible just to go to the ground zero of Sasquatch activity. And I found myself smack dab in Northern California at the age of 17, conducting a 2-week research effort in the area where Jerry Crew found his famous tracks, and Roger Patterson showed the Patterson-Gimlin film in 1967. So I went to the middle of this. I went to, Hoopa, where there are more residential Bigfoot sightings than anywhere else in the United States. There's Willow Creek, the mecca, the gateway to Bigfoot Country, and explored some other areas around Arcata, California, the Trinity Alps Wilderness, Six Rivers National Forest. And I have all of those clips, and I've organized them and edited them, and am providing a little bit of a narrative for you to kind of give you an idea of how rough it was when I started off on this. I didn't know much about backpacking and hiking and wilderness traversal, and a lot of that made for tough going, and I had a lot of exposure to dangerous wildlife and interesting people. So without delaying any further, I'm just going to jump right into it. So I hope you enjoy the story. Hope you enjoy my adventure. I know I sure as heck did. So I started my trip on August 11th in the year of 2010, and I flew on a plane from Nashville International Airport all the way to San Francisco, California. There I walked amongst the big buildings and found a hostel and stayed the night. The next day I found my way to a Greyhound station and got on the bus and took it north, saw Alcatraz, and we rode on some of the winding city highways through Oakland and San Francisco area. Then we got on the coastal highway and went through Wine Valley and all these different areas. And as we got further north, the hills grew bigger, and at nightfall we found ourselves in the mountains, and I could see the silhouettes of giant trees. Those were redwoods and sequoias. Day one, I woke up and I was in Arcata. It was a little coastal college town near the Redwoods National Forest, and I took a little transit system through the fog and made our way into the higher mountain region. And I just recall coming out of the fog from the lower valley, like the lower elevation. And we found our way in Willow Creek, which is the gateway to Bigfoot Country. And I got off the bus there and took a long pause in front of the statue there of Oma. And then as I started to go through town, I started to see the community and how much Bigfoot has affected it over the years. Chainsaw carvings seem to be around every corner, or Bigfoot signs, or the Bigfoot Motel, or different businesses like that. So I walked back up Highway 96, that's the Bigfoot Scenic Byway, and I was kind of looking through the trees the whole way over for a glimpse of maybe something unexpected. But I didn't see Bigfoot, and I just continued to walk around the highway. At the time, I didn't know a lot about backpacking. I had 90 pounds worth of gear, and I had a 70 pounds in a 60-liter backpack and other stuff, and then another pack with a generator in it. So I ditched my stuff at a local campground 2 miles out, and then walked back into Willow Creek without my pack and checked out the Bigfoot collection at the China Flat Museum in town. And after a few awkward and overly excited pictures with the Bigfoot out front, I moseyed on in. When I got inside, I learned a lot about the logging industry and how that's kind of shaped the town of Willow Creek. I also learned about a lot of the local tribes in the area, the closest being the Hoopa Reservation. And I got to see a lot of their ceremonial garb and things like that. I wandered into the Bigfoot collection and saw a lot of interesting artwork and theories regarding the creature and its origin. There were a few Bigfoot dioramas and old magazines and news articles hung up around the wall, but it had a pretty impressive Bigfoot cast collection. And I'm assuming that a lot of these were from Bob Titmus and maybe even some reconstructions from Roger Patterson, but they did have some copies of the Jerry Crew cast, and anybody who knows anything about Jerry Crew, that's where the name Bigfoot came from, was the article telling his story. So I went through town a little bit more, and there's a Bigfoot motel and Willow Creek motel, and went through a little area that where one of the creeks came through, and I just really was getting excited about the mountains. I was walking through this creek, it was refreshing, and I was looking up on these big distant hills and mountains and just wondering what could be out there. But there were a lot of people out there at the time enjoying the nice warm weather and the cool water. So I made my way back through town and walked across Bigfoot's den and the Bigfoot motel, a few other businesses there. And then I got back to the campground and started walking along the trail and started boulder hopping around the creek there, further behind where a lot of people were camping. It was a really quiet area. There was a lot of running water. At one point, I jumped over a boulder and saw an indentation that looked a lot like a big footprint in the gravel and sand. But when I landed, I destroyed it and never knew what it was or what it was from. The next day, I started walking along the highway again and walked across the bridge that I saw yesterday, and I was headed towards the Tish Tang campground, which was really far away. And I got pretty thirsty and started eating blackberries to rehydrate, and a couple of Hoopa natives, Jesse and his brother Rondo, who came by, and they picked me up and took me into the campground area. They told me that I could get a discount and if I was a Hoopa resident, so Rondo gave me his ID and let me borrow it for the day, and then I went through and hung out at the creek. It was super refreshing water, and it was a really neat area tucked in the mountains there. And I got to see a few little wildlife specimens. I got some good pictures of this snake here swimming in the water. When I initially saw him, he had something in his mouth, and then when he jumped in the current to get away from me, he spit it out, whatever it was. And yeah, it was a nice day in the sun, and I started to formulate my plan, what I was going to do, where I was going to go, and I was trying to figure out how to get to the Bluff Creek Historic Trail, which at the time I thought was the Bluff Creek Trail around Blue Creek Mountain, around where the Patterson-Gimlin film was taken, but ended up being a different location. But I went around and I found all these rock stacks that people had made, these cairns, and I wondered what purpose they were. At the time, I thought that maybe they were Bigfoot related, but I think in time I've learned that they were just people stacking rocks. I took another stroll before turning in that night. I climbed up a steep ridge and looked around, glassed the area, and then I went back down, and the sun got lower on the water, and I pretty much just crawled in my tent and went to bed. Next day I got up and I kind of kicked my feet up and just looked at the sun as it kind of lit up the area. I found one particular rock stack that looked interesting to me. It looked like a big figure staring and looking at a little figure, and I couldn't help but draw the comparison to a human and a Bigfoot. It seemed to be some coyote or some other type of animal scat down by the banks there. But yeah, I just kind of relaxed that early morning, and then later I found the campground host, who was a member of the Hoopa Valley tribe, and he took me back into town, took me into the Hoopa Reservation, and helped me track down Jesse and Rondo so I could return Rondo's ID. I didn't get a discount, by the way, but I saw some longhouses, traditional longhouses that the Hoopa people built, and I got to meet Rondo and Jesse and their family and friends, and they actually invited me to stay at their place overnight, and they actually had that night they had a big traditional Indian barbecue for me, so it was kind of cool. They had venison steak and made some fry bread, and that was a really cool experience. I also got to go swimming with them and jump off some big rocks into the creek, and we also got to experience a lot of their more sacred sites. They showed me, where they danced. So the next day, Jesse drove me out to the trailhead, to the historic Bluff Creek Trail. There's a great overlook of the Trinity River, and I really soaked that in before I started my hike. Alright, so finally, I've made it. Made it to the Bluff Creek Trail. Just across this road here. And then up this incredibly steep mountain. Hopefully it'll flatten out. But if it doesn't, I think I'm still ready for it. There's the sign right there. Six Rivers National Forest, Bluff Creek Historic Trail. I'm sunburnt. I'm tired. But I'm ready to get some shit done. So, let's find Bigfoot. They're watching me. They are watching me. Alright, so I'm on the edge of this very narrow trail. See, my foot's here. And then the plunge to certain death is right there. So let's be careful when we walk the trail today, shall we? Okay, so I'm not even a mile into the trail. And these trees, these huge healthy trees, have been bent over. This is quite some time ago. That's probably not much to take note of. But then over here, you see a lot of them are kind of bent over. I can't really say what it is. I guess it could just be the slant of the hill. The trees aren't very strong. But you gotta see how all those trees are bent over like that. It's easy to assume that Sasquatch would have come over here and used it as some kind of territorial barrier. But I'm not gonna jump to conclusions because trees can naturally bend like that. So unless I hear vocalization or something distinguishable, I'm not gonna get excited about anything. So this was one particular example where I thought the tree was kind of entwined in an unusual way. The healthy branches were kind of just twisted together in a way that just seemed unnatural to just natural gravity. Okay, so I'm on the side of this mountain here, and I don't know when I'm gonna venture inland. I need to look at the map, but I broke into an MRE that I'm having for lunch today, which means breakfast was nothing, and then I had like a snack, like a little thing of trail mix. But now I'm having an MRE, so
that's going to be lunch. And then there probably won't be any dinner except for maybe there's something I have from the night before as far as MREs. So whatever I have left from 2 days ago or whatever is what I'm going to have for dinner tonight, which isn't going to be much. So hopefully I'll make some progress. I'll get off this ledge here and can make my way where there's going to be water and food sources there. So, but I need some more energy. I need to carry less weight, so I'm eating another MRE. Things just got really bad. I was eating an MRE, got thirsty, was going to refill this because I had already gone through this, which is about a liter, and I had 3 liters altogether. Opened up my bag, realized I lost a liter because it had leaked from the hydration bladder, so that's fucking doesn't work anymore because it leaks. It leaked about half a liter, and I started filling up the green water bottle, filled it all the way to the top, about a liter, and lost half of it. So I refilled it again. The hydration bladder is now empty. This is all the water I have. This is full for the rest of the day. Possibly for the rest of 2 days until I get down to some water. I need to look at the map, find out where the hell I'm going to get some water. But it's not looking good, so. Alright, so I've already walked the trail. And I'm running into a rattlesnake right here, and he's poised and ready to pounce. I gotta find him on the camera. Hold on. Okay, hold on. He's right. Oh shit, where is he? He's just kind of sitting there in strike mode. I don't want to piss him off, but I think I already done that. Where is he? Can't find him on the... I think that's him there. He's a good size. Shit, hold on. Yeah, you see him right there? He's just kind of ready to strike. He's been ready to strike, and I don't know what he's gonna do. He's getting closer. Hoping he's moving off. Hoping he's not gonna try to bite me. I'm gonna back off a little bit. Maybe find a stick to get him away from me. Yeah, he started doing that rattling and shit. I didn't know, I instinctively backed off, but I didn't want to mess with him. He's mean. Mean little turd. Alright, hold on. Alright, I'm gonna try to move him away. Go! Hey! 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 Go! Turn around! Go! That way! Go! Get out of here! Go! Go! Hey! Get out of here! Go! 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 Okay, now I'm just gonna pass him. Definitely gonna look out for those bastards. They're all over the place. That's my first rattlesnake I've ever met in the wild. And I'm alone. That was my first rattlesnake I've ever encountered in the wild. And I'm all by myself. One bite. If I didn't see him and he didn't react in time, if he was sleeping, sunbathing, it'd be over. I'd be stuck up here on this mountain. I might be able to, I'd probably be able to hike down. But there's no service out here. I'd have to hike along the road until I saw a vehicle. Would have been bad. Would have been bad. I mean, I haven't been here, you know, half a day yet, and I've already come within a life-threatening situation. A rattlesnake on top of a cliff face. I mean, that could have been real bad. Could have been really bad. Now every time I hear a noise, you know, I'm always looking at the ground, making sure that doesn't happen again. I mean, I came within 2 feet of stepping on him if he hadn't warned me. So, my mind's racing. You know, it's still calm. I'm kind of out of breath just because I'm carrying this shit. But, I mean, that's just a reminder that I'm on my own and I can't fuck up. Maybe I should reword that. I'm on my own and I can't screw up. Okay, I'm going to put the camera away so I can focus. Another rattlesnake. And then some scat here. It's pretty big. Could be panther. Could be bear. Don't know. But, I was seeing, I think irrigation tubes. I don't know if that's for pot or what the I don't know. I'm not liking this country right now. I've got to be quiet though. I'm just gonna try to move through. This might just be a bad section. So I know where that rattlesnake's at, and I'm just gonna walk by him. Okay, so unfortunately, due to finding a farm on the trail, I had to leave Bluff Creek. I found a ride right outside the trailhead, got a ride up into Orleans, and then had the McCovies come back and pick me up. And we went to the library the next day, and then over to the forestry area. Found a new trail. I'm now in the Trinity Alps area, kind of between there and Six Rivers, and I'm going to go on a trail called crap. I got another map. The ranger station gave it to me, even though they're not supposed to do that, but the guy was cool. So I'm at the Mill Creek Lake trailhead, and I'm going to take the Long Prairie Trail, and then I'm going to go southeast onto the 1 Mile Trail, and then north on the Devil's Backbone. And there's some scenic areas and stuff that I'll point out when I get there. But yeah, yep, I'm gonna hike out on Sunday. So today's the 18th. I don't even know what day of the week it is, so I can't do the math right now. But yeah, should be good. I'm just gonna have some breakfast here. I've got a cheese and veggie omelet, MRE. So I'm gonna break into that and then start out pretty early. So, all right. So in short, the omelet was a disgusting breakfast. It was cold and slimy, and I sat very unprepared at the foothills of a vast wilderness that few have explored.